though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
All right then, everybody, we're here. Hey guys, what's going on? So apparently, with just me watching my own video here, we're gonna have a real quick discussion about the PornHub Purge that basically recently occurred. So for those of you that basically weren't aware, essentially about 4 days ago, PornHub deleted 10 million videos from its platform. Why did they delete these 10 million videos? Well, apparently about 2 weeks ago, the New York Times came out with an opinion piece, and that opinion piece highlighted a number of issues on Pornhub. Essentially, there were videos of underage individuals there. That is the case. Now, what did they do? The actions taken was they deleted all unverified content. What does that mean? Any individual that did not verify themselves on the platform in and of itself, their content was taken down. Now, you're going to be posting sexually explicit images onto this internet stuff and things. I don't think that's necessarily an unfair issue. Now, what is one of the major issues that we have going on right now? Well, Visa and MasterCard pulled out. Yes, I may have titled the video that earlier, and I'm just like, well, that's what happened. They pulled out from processing. I also then realized it may have a slight double entendre because, well, nobody's ever watched porn on the internet. These things happen. I am so pro squirrel, it's not even funny. But as we know, stuff and things happen on this internet of stuff and things right now. And we'll go through the chat real quick. Let me swap over to the other little dealio. Hail there, Parrothead. Good to see you there. As well as we have Hippies for Trump. Hey, very thank you for coming on, dude. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pop on Rant Wars a little earlier. I totally meant to, and I got distracted, did my video, yada, yada, yada. I wanted to put food in my belly. I need to be up in about 7 hours. It's all right. It's all right. Somebody's going to lift things up and put them down. Now, what are the implications of this? The first thing we got to talk about is don't harm children. Number one, you got to deal with this issue. But as I highlighted earlier in the EFF article, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, basically they're big on the freedom on this internet stuff and things, whether it's free speech, this, that, or the other thing, and they do take a very nuanced view, and that's one of the things that they said. If you're dealing with a sexual exploitation of children, that is a major issue. One such instance that they ran into in that article in and of itself was there was an individual. She happened to be underage at the time. She was engaged in sexting with her significant other. Apparently, that video managed to find its way on Pornhub. Now, you're dealing with an individual that even if they may be of age right now, there's content from where they're a kid. You can't have that. No, you just don't do that. As well as, Hail Joe. Shout out to my patrons, Joe Franco and Dave M. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. And what do we see? Well, you're seeing like thousands of people. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure the stats would back me up on this, the majority of which have to be hardworking gals. And as somebody that's probably spent far too much time on Pornhub, there's a lot of folks are providing for their families. If you're going to take away from the potential of somebody to provide for their families, that's a major issue. Because at least according to those articles, they can only really process via crypto. You have the two main networks that are basically disseminating through this internet stuff and things. All right. Now a lot of folks are just, it's Pornhub. Oh, I go on to X videos, this or that or the other thing. It's like, okay, will there still be porn on the internet? Yes. I still remember the song. I was talking with some folks earlier. It's like, The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. Pardon my French, but grab your dick and double click for porn, porn, porn. Oh my god, the WoW adaptation of Avenue Q is freaking amazing. We'll take a look at it sometimes. We'll do, I don't know, a mimetic review or something like that. But as well as a welcome Monterey as well. But hey, that's the thing. It's like you do whatever you do. But one of the big things is PornHub, it is a Canadian-based company. And as a Canadian-based company, this also adds an additional implication. Now, are we going by US law? Are we going by Canadian law? Kind of, again, and I'm not an attorney. That is my father, Mr. Memes. This kind of looks like perhaps international law. What the heck applies here? I'm not too sure about that. It's very hard to say, but the whole point of the EFF, and let's actually, we'll bring it up over here. So EF, not WDD. I know, fingers on the keyboard. EFF and PornHub. Yes, since this is a YouTube/Facebook video, yeah, we got to be careful. We can't necessarily. Yeah. No, I'm not going to share that. That does appear to be from a verified user. We'll go to news here. Yes. All right. We got that right there. Bada boom. Bada bing. See, he always wants to talk. Even when I was on the phone lines doing an internship, though, I was just always keep talking. I'm like, I'd rather get this person's like information right rather than putting it in. It's like, yeah, that comes with time. It's like, wait a second, you're not just using interns as cheap, unbenefited labor, are you? Nobody would ever do that. But as we can say, the general thing and the mimic they put away is Visa MasterCard trying to dictate what you can watch on Pornhub. Now, I mean, that is an opinion there. Now, the other counter to that would be if all of a sudden there's videos of essentially kitty diddling or naked children on Pornhub and you're doing the processing, they might get caught up in the hoopla. And Visa and MasterCard don't want to get sued. However, once all the unverified material is taken down, there shouldn't be any reason for them to be available as processing networks. Because essentially, I mean, they're the oligopoly. You got the two main processors. What are you going to do? It's like, well, you Stripe or PayPal. It's like, yeah, whose networks do they think they use? And this is why it's actually very complicated. It doesn't seem to be as easy as a lot of folks would think. And again, I only spent like a week, 2 weeks in the payment processing business. And for the individual I would work with, what was the model? You got a copy of their bill. And then whoever was there doing the underwriting or whatnot, they would look and then it would match or beat it. And then this was at the point where you still had like all those different terminals and everything like that. So it's kind of like a cable contract. It's like, all right, you pay for the service and then you pay for the equipment. So they kind of get you there for a double whammy. Why? Well, because essentially people are making money from you sending your money to another person gives you consent. I don't know. I mean, at the time, the equipment was expensive. I think things have gotten a little bit cheaper. But do the EFF here. As you can see, PornHub is removing millions of user-uploaded videos. This action comes after a New York Times column accused the website of hosting sexual videos of underage and non-consenting women. In response to the Times article, Visa and MasterCard cut ties with PornHub, making it impossible for PornHub to process payments other than through cryptocurrencies. And if you're talking about that, it's like, okay, people can do that. I totally have the ability to do that. I don't know how to do that. I probably should do that. And this may or may not be a contributing factor why Bitcoin hit $23,000 the other day. I'm just saying, if you're talking supply and demand, it is essentially a commodity. You have a limited supply, and so many other folks have demand. It is what it is. But And this is the thing here. And they go through this in the article. It's like sexual exploitation is a scourge on society that needs resources, education, victim support, and when necessary, prosecution by responsible authorities to address Visa, MasterCard, and are the wrong entities for addressing these problems. Visa and MasterCard do not have the skills, expertise, or position to determine complex issues of digital speech. Nuanced challenges to what content should exist online and whether moderation policies will inadvertently punish otherwise marginalized voices are issues that legal experts, human rights experts, lawmakers, and courts in the United States and abroad have been deeply considering for years. The truth is, navigating speech policies is a way that won't shut down huge swaths of legitimate worthy speech is hard, and it's wrong that Visa and MasterCard have the power to, however clumsily, police speech online. Now, I swear I am learning this technology slowly but surely. We do what we can because sometimes you just gotta do what you want. 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자. Again, I am very pro squirrel. As an out of the closet furry, I think I need to be. All right there. So, I see you there, Jacob. Welcome, Jacob. The dopamine rush, it's like, well, yeah, I know. I love freaking dopamine. That's the thing. We all have different things we like. And some of the things they were citing there, let's face it, I'm pretty sure, and again, this is one of the things that the internet has taught me. Rule 34 is a thing. And especially in certain places, when you look at certain things that were like the top searches on Pornhub, it's like, all right, I'm seeing feet. I'm seeing, I do also like feet. I'm seeing, what was it, like stepmom or something like that. It's like, role play. I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with role playing. Some people enjoy different roles. And all I know is as well, as far as kink shaming goes, the sheer fact a son essentially finds their dad's basically dirty diaper freaking baby play videos. Yeah, and he points out to his father, the proper response to your kiddo is to not pull out a shotgun and blow their head off. This is why I tend to view myself a bit of a Dargan of the left. It's like, as long as you're not harming another person, I don't really care. What you do behind closed doors, I mean, that's your own business. I mean, that don't really involve me unless I'm involved there. But yeah. Now, Parrothead, when you say the OCC is proposing a rule change to the banks, which particular rule is that? Because one of my big things is it's like, okay, yeah, I might be kind of a lefty. It's like I hear all about the means of production. It's like we have the modern means of production right here. It literally is Google. It's YouTube. It's Facebook. That's why when I was running for the president of this Internet of Stuff and Things, one of my first platforms was digital due process. What is digital due process? It's like, okay, if they're going to take you off of these sites and everything, we need a clearly laid out system of due process to help adjudicate these things. So if you're on YouTube, this, that, or the other thing, it's like all of a sudden the terms might change. And then all of a sudden you get like 3 strikes from videos from like years ago and stuff. That don't make no sense to you. It's like you should be grandfathered in. What happened? They went through the process. If there's an issue, rather than giving you a strike, it's like, okay, we'll just say, listen, we've updated our terms of service. This video, it no longer meets them. We've privatized it, so it's not being published on the site, so we can't get in trouble. It's still in your private logs. So if you would like to edit it and or put it on a different platform, you can. It's just all of a sudden, if they nuke your video or something, heck, even, what was it, Ethan Ralph from the Ralph Retort, one of his big things with kind of getting nuked off of YouTube, I guess he had a video where his wife was on a stream with him. And that was the only copy he had. And you might completely hate Ethan Ralph. I ain't the biggest fan of like the Ralph Retort or the Killstream or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, but still the fact that there was a video of a husband and his wife. It's kind of like having a voicemail from like a family member that like passes away or something. It's a way to help remember them. And this is something that we kind of miss out on as well. And yes, absolutely H7. I wouldn't say I'm that amazing. I think that's Lucas. I'm only a memes here. But you see all this stuff going on, and oh, hail Laura, good to see you, as well as Terry. Good to see you all here as well. Their own credit card. Here's the thing. Can they? Sure. Where are you going to get the money, the collateral? It's also the processing networks, and a lot of these companies. And here's the thing. This is the thing that really bothers me, because I'm like, all right, I can literally for free, or this is like the pay for model or something. And actually, what we'll do is let's get a little audience interaction. If somebody would like to pop on, we'll just do our standard little verification process and everything there, because we like interaction. The thing is on the YouTubes right now, and actually, let me pop over to the other little thing here. Yes, I swear. Oh no, it's all right. It's all right. I totally cleared my browser history for yes, the memory. No, I totally did. It's all right. It's all right. But as far as that happens, it's a lot of these banks and everything, essentially, to my knowledge, is if you still want to wire money, it's still going to cost you like $30. Why the heck does it cost you that much money to Western Union? Because they're using all these old archaic networks and everything like that all over, like, I think, like phone line. It's kind of like sending a fax. So they charge you this money. I'm like, how hard is it to send, I don't know, a couple of kilobytes of information over there? I realize I'm probably fading in and out there. All right. It's all right. Hey, the internet ain't perfect here. But as far as that goes, well, actually, there are probably ways to get around. Basically, transferring anything of value. It's kind of like, what was it? Some folks, what they would do before is if somebody had like a cash rewards. Basically, if you bought something with a credit card, you earn like 5% cash back. If you bought like a Visa gift card or a Best Buy gift card, something that's essentially equal to cash, you get charged what? I don't know. You 50 cents for shipping. So basically it ends up being like if you buy $100 gift card, you take 1% off of that, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, if you're on 5%, you're making money. That's why you'd see a lot of folks consolidating balances over to certain cards and everything and just keep on rolling and rolling. As long as you pay it off, it's fine. But it's like somebody may or may not try that as a Ponzi scheme. I don't know. But I'm like, all right, in the digital age, why does it still cost me like 3% to send money somewhere else in the world? Why is it as a business it costs this much? Because the payment processors, they'll usually charge anywhere between, I don't know, I think what was it, like between 10 to 25 cents per swipe of a card or use of a card. And then typically I think between like 1.5 to like 3.5% or so. That's why when you went to a store, it would say like minimum $5 or $10 purchase there, because they want to overcome that processing fee. I realize it's extremely dry, but this is important as well. Plus, there are also literally companies that have like probably trillions of dollars essentially of assets, or at least money moving through their systems and stuff. So they also have the scalability as well. That's my generic thing as well. But thank you. Thank you there. I appreciate it. The artist formerly known as Rat. Yes, Sather. We have the but I don't know. Did I put the link out? I forget. Yes, I did. It's all right. I realize this is not the most stimulating thing. I put out an invite to a couple of folks, including the Adult Performers Actors Guild president, Miss Alana Evans. She's very lovely. And one of the reasons I did the video early is, well, I got the email because I'm on the APEG email list. Why? Why not? I don't know. I'm a traveler on this internet of stuff and things. This is what I do. I go around to different communities. Each community to understand the power that's inside. Yes, I completely ripped off Pokemon. I did a video on that. Well, we got the deep lore. We got the deep lore. Yes. We're throwing that out there. But that's the thing. It's like, you look at this, it's like, okay, oh, it's Pornhub. Okay. So what happens if all of a sudden every video on YouTube from a non-verified user goes poof? What if basically everyone that's not verified gets Thanos? I'd snap, but I can't snap. It's all right. Never learned how. I'm not good at those things. But this is one of the reasons why the EFF followed it. Because even with Patreon, basically a couple of years ago, what was it? It's Spencer something Richards or something like that. Not Richard Spencer, but somebody else. Literally, I think it was MasterCard. It was either MasterCard or Visa. One of them said, if this person is still on your platform, we will pull processing. So they got rid of it. And that was literally Patreon's comment. It's like, that is what they were directly told, which was also part of my speculation. When you see other folks getting deplatformed, it's like, why was this? It's like, all right, you had little Lauren Southern. It's like, all right, what did she do? It's like, well, you look at what she was doing. It's like, she did fire an incendiary device at a navigable vessel. Was she very far away and likely within range? No, but we kind of got that. At least in my mind, I'm like, you got to clarify the rules. You got to clarify the rules. And especially when you had Mr. Jack content, I see some of his content, it's like, I like Jack. But you see what happens, it's like, well, only for things that happen on Patreon. And then you get him, or his company at least, booting Sargon. It's like, am I the biggest Sargon fan? No. But the sheer fact, it's like, you booted him for doing something stupid on YouTube. Unless that was posted to Patreon, I don't think that's on Patreon. And that's the thing. And ultimately, I think a lot of this comes down to, at least in my opinion, the work-life balance. So essentially, if you're on a platform, if you're doing some type of work, especially if you're earning revenue off of it, so whether it's Pornhub, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether it's any of these large platforms, you're earning an honest living. And if you're earning an honest living, you really need to have clear rules about what people can and cannot do, because essentially you're talking about people's livelihoods. And this is why it is such a big issue, because you get all these different folks and it's like, well, what are they going to do? You literally just took away their potential jobs as well. But oh, thank you, Parrothead. I was actually I meant to reach out to Viva, Mr. Viva Fry earlier, as well as Hail Dave. Welcome. We were giving you guys a shout out a little bit earlier. Well, what if Farmgillips became a type of currency? Sir, I think you may have just invented porn coin, although I'm sure something like that already exists. All right, what does everyone think? Is there a good porn coin or something? Because people were I was in a Professor Wolfram chat for kids, which he actually talks about some very advanced things. And since I identify as a big kid, yeah, they were talking about Wolfcoin. I'm sorry, I went on with a different tangent with that. But I mean, it is something of value, and this is actually that's an incredibly important point. What I tend to think that things tend to come full circle. It's my number 10 universal truth. And if things tend to come full circle, didn't we used to do this whole like bartering thing a while ago? It's like, all right, I got 3 camels. You got 3 goats and 30 sacks of grain. Okay, maybe 20 sacks of grain. We'll trade you. All right. You got 2 consenting parties, you have a trade. Now it's like, well, if people are going to charge us a couple of percent to just send somebody money, it's like, even with PayPal, you're still talking like 1.5% or so. It's like, all right, if I want to give like friggin' if I want to get Parrot Head, like $100, I'm like, why is it going to cost me like $3 to $5 to send them $100? Like, especially if somebody's in need. And I realize like GoFundMe and a lot of these sites, it's like, it's a great work and stuff, but a lot of times they work off of donations. Like, why does it cost so much money to send money? Like, why does it cost more than me literally putting a check or cash in an envelope and sending it somewhere within the continental United States? Was it 50, 60, 70, even 80 cents? It's like, isn't it cheaper? Isn't it greener to do it electronically? And this is the thing, even with Dr. Shiva. And Dr. Shiva, do I agree with everything the man says? No. But he had one of the greatest ideas I ever heard. It's like, well, if in the Constitution we have this thing called the post office, why don't we upgrade the post office in the 20th century? I don't know. Maybe as some form of universal email or some base system that we can kind of use to, I don't know, make it easier for, I don't know, people to help people. We take away some of these excess processing fees and everything and just make things easier. I don't know, maybe we could try to utilize some aspects of the free market to help maximize actual good we can do for another rather than kind of being skimmed off the top. And I think that actually is part of the reason why a lot of folks, they don't necessarily want to engage in this stuff. It's like, well, I'm already going to lose money and stuff like that. It's like, I want to give it to this particular person that I know and care about rather than, oh, look, oh, I'm getting skimmed off the top. This is how I can actually believe we can actually come together and actually try to start helping one another as well as hail LDG Pixels. Thank you for joining us as well. Oh, wait, is it Pickles or Pixels? I don't know. Wait. You all have that in Norway? Y'all can just literally just send it, because I think Google has like a pay thing or something that has like, I had heard no processing. I haven't used it yet, but that would actually be huge. And that's the thing. Even if it exists, people need to know it exists to actually use it. It's like, these are the tools of the modern economy. This is how we communicate. This is how we speak to each other. This is how we actually can help out other folks within the communities and everything. But is PH see, unfortunately, I apologize, Dave. I do contribute to that as well because, God, I love my Heinz ketchup, and that has a lot of vinegar in it, and that is very acidic. That is one of the things as well. But oh no, I appreciate it. I was totally lazy this week. We didn't do the workout videos. We kind of had a blizzard and stuff, and we've been having a lot of 5 a.m. starts recently. And I don't know. You'll fly around a warehouse, an electric pallet jack, lift things up and put them down all day. It's like, it is a decent workout. So to be fair, I am kind of cheating, and just my occupation kind of helps me burn calories. Well, that and not being a strapping young lad in my 20s anymore, it's like, you kind of do need to get some sleep. You do kind of need to rest as well. I'm not living quite in the enemy dimension yet. We can uncover those additional like 10 or 11 dimensions that Dr. Weinstein's talking about all the time. It's like, I think we can figure this out. So you can actually send money without fees. Do people utilize that a fair amount? Like, is that the primary source? Because over here, we do have PayPal. We do have actually Venmo and stuff. I think Venmo, it's very nearly free. I think it might actually be free because it is kind of a social network as well. So it's like, I guess they are drawing attention to things. But I look at it, I'm like, well, why does it still cost us money? And I even asked my bank this. I'm like, why does it still, when we have these things, like, why does it still cost like $29 if I'm going to wire somebody some money? And they're like, pretty much, yeah, we're using older systems and everything. It's like, that seems kind of silly. It's like, all right, let's say we have a court case, and it's like, all right, well, we need a photograph or a document for this. It's like, okay, well, you could scan it and then send it. Okay. Or, I don't know, maybe you they force you to fax it or something like that. And it's like, and again, is it just because you haven't updated the security protocols? What is missing? Like, why do we need this additional levels? And again, if it's a security thing, I can understand that, but it's like, dude, if we can create a vaccine for a novel virus in like 9 months with modern technology, because I don't know, the reason why I can believe this is, well, one, basically within, I think it was like a day or two of actually receiving the samples of the virus. There was a lab in, I believe, Boston, maybe Cambridge, as well as California. They sequenced the RNA. They're like, all right, we have like the genetic combination of this particular virus here. Now, as far as the type and everything, I was going to do a video on that. I still believe that Congress should be one of the first in line. I'm willing to take a step back on that particular thing and have a member of Congress take my doses first, because they need to lead by example and we need to protect Congress. That is another situation as well, and I do kind of want to look a little bit deeper into it. But as far as the whole Pornhub situation, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And it's, again, I still remember when folks were saying, oh, Alex Jones. Oh, it's like, oh, no, hold on. No, Alex Jones wasn't necessarily the first to be essentially booed off a bunch of platforms. Now, with Alex Jones, if they're going to do that, you need to specifically cite why. If it's because of what he was alluding to in his opinion on his show, ended up getting a bunch of parents of murdered children harassed, potentially had an individual literally fire shots at a pizza shop because of his opinion, you gotta cite that. You gotta let folks know. And Alex Jones wasn't the first one. The Daily Stormer, as far as I remember, which was a satirical Nazi site, yeah, it was a thing. Yeah, it got purged from the mainnet. And one of the issues you have, especially if you don't clarify, is now people feel that they are now victims. Because if you didn't clearly specify what they were being booted for, and I realize there's legal reasons there, you gotta at least explain if you're gonna give somebody the digital death penalty. And again, that's just my opinion. And you don't gotta like these people, these individuals, but that's the thing. Now you're seeing it come from more and more folks. People have been highlighting this for a while. And I think part of this is just kind of feeding into each other. It's like you got folks saying, oh my God, look at all this and everything. And other folks are getting so irked, so they're getting kind of crazy and everything. So like, no, we need to take to the streets for this. And you have other folks saying, oh my God, look at these folks. They're taking to the streets over here. We need to fight these folks back. And it's like, yeah. Are they National Socialists? Yes. Are they communists? Yes. I've talked to black nationalists. I've talked to white nationalists. When you boil it all down, most folks just want to live a good life and be left alone. And you know what? Whatever you want to believe, as long as you ain't hating on or harming another person, again, I don't really care. I don't need to like you. You're not entitled to another person's love. That's the thing. Respect is earned. I just think we're fighting over so much stupid shit, in my opinion. It's like the amount of things that's going on, it just bothers the hell out of me. But all right, we basically have a surface called VIPS. That's the most adorable little name for a payment processor I've ever heard. That's adorable. I like it. And with it, you basically just need the phone number of the recipient, and everybody uses it. All right. So basically, you have a state-provided tool. Some may call it a social program, in that people can send money to other people. So basically, if Sather needs some pizza, that's like, oh, I'm sorry, mate. I don't get paid until Friday or something like that. I really can't go out. It's like, no worries. I'm going to shoot you some cash. I'm going to shoot you some Kroters. I think that's Swedish. Apologies for my racism, rat. But I look at this and I'm like, we could do so much better. I'm like, just a simple little thing. It's like, really? There's an app for that. What do you need? You need somebody's number. I remember President Obama, people were talking about like those Obama phones and everything. No eating plastic. I'm sorry. My cat is something. No, get out of there. Ah, it's all right. It's all right. Yes, as you hear, my water bowl being knocked over because I'm a filthy animal and everything. And my animal is reaching out to me. Yes. Yes, he is. I'll send you the link over there. Yes, but my cat is now rubbing my leg. Hold on, let me double check the twitters as well. I said, okay. Nice. All right. Now, all right. Well, she responded. All right. It's getting a little late. All right. And I need to be up in about 6 hours for work. So I realize it is getting late. It's Kroners. Hey. All right. So before my cat eats a small piece of plastic that's on the floor, I'm going to have to get out of here. But before we do that, I want to thank you all for watching. I want you all to be safe. You do the best you can. Again, shout out to my patrons, Joe Franco and Dave M. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. And unlike the squirrels are saying that we'll be back, this is the outro. Peace out, everybody.
낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 오빤 강남스타일